Well, how I ended up playing at the very first Black Swamp Arts Festival was probably this. I played at Poly-Eyes by the railroad tracks there for years when I was in probably my late 20s and early 30s, and Kelly Wicks was an employee there when he was in college. And so I had a little bit of a following, and I put out some cassette tapes that sold reasonably well for a local person. And so I was always under the impression that they wanted local musicians at that community stage, and at the time I was playing a lot in town. So that's how I ended up playing. And then I also ended up playing for another musician, playing guitar for a saxophone player that played on the Sunday afternoon of this first festival.
And the community stage, that year was, where was it?
Well, I don't recall if they called it the community stage, but the stage I played on would have been the secondary stage. And it was located sort of in front of Pisanello's Pizza, between Pisanello's and Howard's there at Court Street at the intersection, facing south that first year.
What do you remember about that first year?
I remember it being a little colder. In fact, the pictures were all wearing sweaters or fleeces because it was cold, and the second day it actually rained, and I believe the second gig I played got interrupted because of the rain. I remember having friends play with me, and all through the 25 years, I've played more with other people than I've played solo. And so just remembering all the people that played with me that day is kind of special. It included Jasovi Eason, who was a professor of history and culture studies at BGSU, who's passed away, and that's a very good memory for me.
So you've played in some form. What are some of the venues you played over the 25 years?
Well, over the 25 years, I've played at whatever the secondary stage was, which was the first year, as I mentioned, facing south. 1 or 2 years it was facing north, down by the Huntington/Mid-Am Bank. And I think they tried to coordinate with the main stage so that the sound wasn't, bleeding over. I played the children's stage a number of times when my kids were little, and actually had my kids sing with me a couple times. The community stage, or that's now in front of the old Huntington Bank, played there probably the most often. There was one that was located in the common space by across from Reverend's, that little plaza, brick plaza there. I know I played there once. The main stage a number of times with my band Parallax View, with my band Ellis, Gorman, and Michael, my duo Del Greco and Gorman, or Gorman and Del Greco. And then I played with Nick Delatorre when he did a main stage one year.
And do each of the stages have their own sort of character? Do you have memories of, sort of, this is what this stage is like, and it's different from playing the main stage or whatever?
Absolutely. I think that there's different character. I know that in recent years, the acts that play the main stage, that also play that acoustic stage on South Main Street, I think they probably really enjoy it because I really enjoy it. For being an outdoor venue, it's a very intimate venue. People are sitting right in front of you. Sometimes there's not even a PA system. But there's 30 or 40 or 50 people who gather in tightly and listen to it. It's a very nice place for a musician to play. And it's very different than the main stage. Now, I think the last time I played the main stage was 2002, and the festival's grown so much since then. So I can't imagine what, when I'm there, it's just the last few years, it's a major concert venue,
So 2002, was that the last year it was facing south? When the main stage was facing, I remember a very hot year.
No, I
think it might have been the first year you played with Tom Del Greco at the festival.
It may be. I remember a really hot year too. I think the last year, the last time I played, I believe it was facing the way it's facing now, because I have pictures. It may be a couple of years. I have pictures where that brick building is in the background. The thing I remember, the last time I played on a Sunday morning at 11, we got there and we couldn't find the sound man because I think they'd had a really good time at Howard's the night before, and we finally found him sleeping under the soundboard. And we got started about 15 minutes late.
Say, any other memories of the festival? Do you remember performances you particularly liked?
Yeah, I would say the memories I have of the festival that I particularly like, I always like playing. I like playing for people that I know, and it's a friendly environment. You know, it's just feels like it's a good thing to do. But meeting the other musicians, meeting Tom Chapin one year, there's a singer named Lee Murdoch who's a Great Lakes singer, really nice fellow. The people that you just kind of run into before and after, those are good memories. And also, it's nice to be close to the stage to see other performers and see them up close.
Any particular performers you were knocked out to see?
I think last year might have been the best year I've ever seen that I recall. You know, I don't have a great attention span, but in 2016 we had the mariachi band. I can't remember the name of the band from Canada. The main stage act on Saturday night, and Pokey Lafarge.
Yeah.
I thought that was one of the best lineups I've seen. Maybe the weather was perfect, the music was great. Really enjoyed them. Junior Brown, I think, was probably one of my favorites from the early years. Just the pedal steel guitar was great. Tom Chapin, I think Michael Smith played here one year. Eileen Ivers was great. Now that I'm thinking of it.
Does it surprise you that the festival is able to attract such talent? And such.
I don't know if it surprises me that the festival is able to attract such talent. I think, I haven't been a professional musician for a number of years, but I did that long enough to know that when a place gets known by other musicians, that they want to play, and I think that the musicians get treated well, they have a good time, treated well by Kelly or Tim Concannon or Cole Christensen or any number of the volunteers that are backstage. It's a good experience. So I think that has propagated this reputation, as far as I know, that people want to play here. And it's a great location as well. Great time of year.
Anything you're playing this year again with Tom Del Greco? Do you have anything planned because it's the 25th? Are you going to go back and pull some old tunes out there?
On my set list, I have 2 or 3 songs from the very first Black Swan Festival. I kept all my set lists, so I have a couple songs we did that very first year, and I have a new CD out that we'll be doing some songs off of that, some songs that Tom and I have written together. My daughter is singing with me, and that's always very special.
And your daughter?
My daughter Anna Gorman is, and she's got a voice like an angel, and I have put together a band of some local musicians, so it'll be good. I'm looking forward to it.
How is having this festival and performing each year, how has it sort of shaped your songwriting and you as a musician? Now, I realize you're probably not as active now, but how has it shaped you as you've gone through and been a songwriter and a performer?
How has the festival shaped me? Well, I would say in my early years as a musician, in the early years of the festival, I made it a point to have something new for the festival every year. And because it was just a great time, it was a great moment for the whole town, for the musicians to sort of, it's like New Year's or your birthday or something, have something for people that day. I think now I'm just really grateful, that for me now to be invited to play for the 25th Festival it's an honor. I'm so grateful that I was asked. I feel like certainly not deserving of it, but I'm happy to do it, and it's a real honor.
It must be special too, because you talked about having your kids when they were little singing with you on the kids stage, and here you've had your kids play periodically. Is that
yeah, there's
the memories?
Yeah, my kids have my oldest, who doesn't say he's a singer, used to come and sing when he was about 5. And then my daughter, my oldest is Ben, my daughter Anna and my son Sam have sung with me a number of times. Sam is overseas, so he won't be here this fall. But yeah, there's nothing better. That is the absolute epitome of any music I've ever done, is to be able to sing with my children. So that's great.
So why has the festival taken such hold, do you think, in the community? You've been around for a while. What is it about it that's made it a success?
Well, I've been in Bowling Green for 40 years this fall. I came as a student, and I think the festival has taken hold in the community because it's really it's such a point of pride for Bowling Green, a point of community engagement. I remember, I sort of look at Bowling Green like pre-Black Swamp Festival years and the post-Black Swamp Festival years, and I see those signs up on the poles that say one of America's great college towns, and I think the Black Swamp Festival is the reason that happened. Because it seems to me that prior to the Black Swamp Festival, there was, it's always been a town, a great place to live and to raise children, but something about that element of art and music that got interjected 25 years ago has really made Bowling Green feel more like, closer to an Ann Arbor or an Austin on a smaller scale, but that there is some kind of active music and art scene here.
Do you have much interaction with the visual artists?
The interaction I have with the visual artists is walking up and down the street, appreciating it, and I don't know what the number is, but I'd say in at least half the festivals I purchased something. So in my house I have, a number of pieces of art that are very special to me, and I remember the festival and the artist that I purchased it from, including I have a limited edition print of the very first poster hanging up from the very first year. I think it's a signed original print. Very, has high value for me.